Everyone knows that this is a workshop come sort of competition, right? What is the name of this
Security Foundation.
security foundation? But did we name anything for this hackathon or competition or anything? Not exactly. So it's sort of hackathon, right? You know that. So I'm going to introduce AWS Cloud. Before I move, I want to see the hands. Anyone has any experience doing any of the AWS module or certification? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand if you have done any of the AWS module or any certification or any AWS thing. Nothing, right? So very good. So now I'm going to introduce AWS, and I'm going to introduce what AWS can do for your career. How can you boost your career using the AWS? And will you believe that most of it is free? Most of it is free because of the collaboration with the universities of AWS. So through the AWS Academy, you can do a lot. So let's quickly go through the. I'm going to introduce something about the AWS providing. Okay, so I'm not going to teach you cloud. I'm going to give you an overview. So you need to take it as a, the aerial view. Don't think that you are losing something because you don't know about this. No problem, because this is just an introduction. The journey starts with your own efforts. You have to work hard to get something. And the module which you are going to do in this competition or workshop, Mr. Ahmad will be going to give you a detailed overview of this. So that's why my job is just to give you a quick overview of services AWS provide. So before I move, anyone having any basic knowledge about the cloud? Anyone having some basics of cloud? No one, right? Okay, never mind. So start with the basic thing. So whatever computation you do on the cloud, so what is computation? Computation means suppose you are running a processor on your laptop, right? I'm running a processor in laptop. Now I want this processor job to be done somewhere else remotely, and I deal with this through the internet. That is called cloud computing, right? So compute is a virtual machine. You must know. How many of you know virtual machine? Please raise your hand if you have heard of it. Okay, any of you created virtual machine? Raise your hand. Okay, so you know how to create virtual machine in local system. Just think of it. You virtualize the whole data center remotely in Singapore, in somewhere in Malaysia, in US, and then you host virtual machines over there and you access virtual machine through the internet. So that is called compute. Then storage. All of you will be familiar with the Google Drive, Dropbox, iCloud. This is a personal storage. So we are not talking about personal storage. We are talking about the huge data center storage, huge data of large, massive companies. For example, think of YouTube. So where YouTube stores the data. So this sort of huge storage, they're provided by the cloud company. Then databases. Okay, how many of you are familiar with the MySQL? Raise your hand, heard of it, MySQL or any database? You know database, right? So just think of a database running in your system. Now you migrate your database over the cloud. Similarly, we moved our virtual machines, we move our, the storage, and now everything is running over the cloud. Somewhere cloud is what? A data center remote you can access through the internet. And it is managed. Managed means you don't need to install. Any of you having experience installation of MySQL or any database server? Have you ever installed, any of you? Raise your hand if you have. Okay, so you know that how hectic job it is, right? Sometimes you get errors, it's not fixing and you are struggling, but you have to do nothing. It's all over the cloud, so you use it. That's database. Then networks. So let me see the hands. Any of you have completed any of the network courses? Yes. So you know how difficult is the Cisco and the subnetting, networking, blah blah things. Everything is managed by the cloud. You all need to learn how to use it, right? and how to create the network, subnet, and you get the concept. But you must need the basic concept to deal with this. Then migration, huge development work can be migrated to the cloud, developers tools, management tools. So let's introduce quickly. So start with the compute. So Amazon EC2, it's the brand name. It's a name for Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud is a virtual machine. I hope everyone knows virtual machine, right? So you are hosting a virtual machine over a cloud, it's called EC2. And why it's called EC2? Because it has two C's. You know, in Malaysia, any Malaysian, raise your hand? Malaysian here? No one Malaysian? Yes. You know, we put two for the multiple thing, like anak, we put anak two, right? So EC2 means two C's, ECC. So they put EC2, right? So that's why Elastic Compute. AMI is image. Image is your just like operating system you use to run the what we call the virtual machine. Wrong timing. Okay, how many of you are familiar with the Docker's containers? Raise your hand. Containers. 3 people. What is container nowadays? Instead of running a virtual machine or running a complete server, we are moving our loads to a microservices. Microservices is a bundle of some package of software and few packages of operating system, not complete operating system, and it runs a very light load. So AWS provide the different sort of microservices option, Dockers, Kubernetes. How many of you heard of Kubernetes? Raise your hand. Kubernetes. Okay, so Kubernetes, AWS provide the Kubernetes cluster. Then there is a service called Lambda. It's not here in Lambda. Oh, computer is going on. So it's just to give you the overview, right? So don't confuse if you don't know the names. You can learn by the time when you start. So it's provide the serverless as well. Serverless is something, I give you a quick example. So for example, you have created a Facebook, right? And someone is uploading a video on the Facebook. So now you create a rule whenever we receive a video on storage, the upload will be on some storage, right? So AWS also provides storage. So you create a rule, a simple script. Whenever we receive a video, we need 2 formats. One format for the web, another format for the mobile use. So now you create a Lambda function, which is a script code. So Lambda provides you facility not to run any virtual machine, any container, anything. You just can have this script runs over the cloud without server, and it can do the task. So suppose you uploaded a video, Lambda executes and video is converted to MP4, XYZ, something happened. So this is called Lambda. So a lot of options of computes as well AWS provide. AWS provides I'm not going all details because you guys are new, so don't be confused. You will learn to know these things later on. Now come to the storage. So let me see hands. Anyone has never used any of the Dropbox, Google Drive, or anything? You never used? Listen question carefully, okay? I made this question tricky. You never use any storage device, or cloud storage, online storage? Google Drive, Dropbox, iCloud, nothing. So that's why my question is other way around. So everyone has used, right? So this is a personal storage, but if we just think of, think of something, a huge storage, right? Huge storage. Just take an example of Shopee. How many of you don't know Shopee? Raise your hand. You don't know Shopee? You don't know. You don't know or you know? Yeah, my questions are tricky. I want to see your hand is attentive or not, right? I'm asking you whoever don't know. Okay, so we all know Shopee, right? So just imagine and think how much storage Shopee will be having. Imagine every user is posting videos, pictures, right? All storage should be somewhere, right? It cannot be accommodated in your mobile, right? Definitely backend, there are huge servers and there is a huge data processing. You search for something, for example, you need deodorant, right? You need a razor, you need a shampoo or whatever, or you need some cosmetics and you are searching on Shopee. And without any exaggeration, thousands of listings you see, right? Thousands of people are selling the same thing. So that require a huge storage and that storage should be very fast to process as well, right? Just think of 100 people here. I just ask you about some product. Okay, go and see on the Shopee. 80 people take out mobile, just try to search and Shopee will be not slow for every of you, right? So it has a huge back end. So that is all storage through the cloud. So cloud, different options. I'm just quickly going through. So some of the options are it provide the for static data. Static data means that you put something and not much use, or it's only for one-way traffic. One-way traffic means you request a query and you download this thing, right? So for that purpose, AWS provide a static website option as well on S3 bucket. So you create all your HTML files, all the images, etc., etc. You make this website. That website will be a very basic, just like introduction of something. Has no option for filling any form, asking any query, making any order, nothing. Static. So that can be done on the storage, AWS. Storage can provide support for any sort of data. For example, you want to put a huge data for processing of image processing. So, but for that purpose, you put the data on S3, then you use some other cloud services to communicate directly to the S3. So I'm just giving a little bit flavor. What is storage? And storage can be a lot of types. Please make chair for teachers. Yeah. Who is the organizer? Please come here, sir. Mr. Dawson, please come on seat. Please come. Yeah, Umapati, please come on. Please come on. Make some space. Yeah, please come. Come. Okay, so storage can be, just take an example. Now you are running development, right? Web development. Just take a very simple example of web development. And in the web development, you are having multiple versions, right? Multiple versions. And every version you save having sometimes 100 GB, right? We have a huge website or something. So now every version is taking place there, so it will fill the storage. So AWS provide multiple options. You have a backup storage as well. So once you updated your version, the old version will move to the cheap one. And then you have set the rules after 30 days, delete the old version. So these sort of, a lot of things it provides. Similarly, a lot of options for so for example, if you talk about the government compliance laws, so in EU, in some countries, they have to take the data for 10 years, right? For the customers, for the patients. So for that purpose, they don't need expensive, they just need an archive. They know they're never gonna touch it, but they have to keep it for government compliance. So they put in the glacier and it's very cheap. So there are many options for the storage. Then database, AWS provide a variety of database options. Let me see the hands again, few more came late. How many of you know SQL, MySQL, relational database? Okay, so AWS can move to the, AWS provide different type of MySQL server, MariaDB, etc. Okay, how many of you know the NoSQL? No SQL, non-relational database servers. So AWS provide a lot of options for non-relational as well, right? So again, you have to do nothing. It's a managed service. You just use it, right? And it has very variety of options. When you go to learn, you can learn. I'm not taking time on this as well. So let's move to the, and it provides a huge database options for any sort of work. So for example, if you are doing a very huge computational task like weather forecast, right? You put the data of 100 years data of Kuala Lumpur in this database, and you want to do the computation, and you want to run a huge computational server, so that can support up to that as well. And it can do the basic database for a shop. You just buying and selling things, right? It creating a record of all the shop, what we say, inventory or selling and all these things. So all options available. Now come to the networking and content delivery. So just think of the network, physical network. How many of you have visited any network lab? No one. We have some labs, right? Having the computers, right? So now raise your hand. How many of you seen the labs where having the computers in APU? So every computer has physical wire, right? Yes? Network wire. It's called, what is the name of this wire? Yes, loudly. Someone's from here. I cannot hear. Loudly. IP68 is what? Cable, standard. Okay. What is the common name? I am common layman. I don't know so technical names. Yeah, any common name for this wire? Ethernet cable, right? So every computer has Ethernet cable. Now think of cloud and servers. We have thousands of servers in a data center, and each server is running, without any exaggeration, hundreds of virtual machines in each server, and one rack have around 8 to 10 servers. So just think of the complexity. Can you provide a physical cable to all? No, right? And virtual machine is already physical, not physical. So you have to create a virtual private network. It's called VPC, and you have to provide the, the virtual NIC. NIC, everyone understand, right? NIC, network interface card. So this is virtual NIC, and that's how we provide you the complete, the control of your own virtual machines through the virtual network. And you must know that nowadays the huge, massive companies, they all working on what we call the software defined network, SDN, because they have huge data centers. And just think, imagine the hierarchical hops coming in between. So suppose rack has 10 servers. On top of rack, you have one switch. Suppose 10 racks, you have another switch. Suppose these sort of other 10 have switch. So within the data center, 3, 4, 5 hops. After to reach the other rack, it has to travel to the 10 or 4 switch, 5 switch. So that makes complex. So they, instead of going this, they made software defined network, SDN based. So they make all data plane and network plane, and I'm not taking so much time. So AWS provide you a lot of services like creating virtual private cloud. AWS provide the DNS service. AWS provide you routing and different service cloud direct. AWS provide a direct service to the huge data center. If you want to connect directly to the AWS through their physical network, they also provide. AWS provide you elastic load balancing. You have Shopee. You create your own Shopee. Now you want load to be distributed on thousands of servers. You don't do manually. Use elastic load balancer. Suppose if you want to do the content delivery. Content delivery is like you use any video watching service? What's name? I know, I'm just testing. Anything you use, watch videos, any service? YouTube. You want to create your YouTube. So just think of YouTube. Would it be possible for YouTube to send you every single video from US North or US East. So how they do? Anyone has idea? Yes, please. Yes. Regions. How? You know about a YouTube, how YouTube running nowadays? Okay, you believe anyone knows more than him? Okay, listen my statement carefully. Very important. YouTube for you is a local. You know local? Local is like land. You don't go on the internet, you can have land. It's my big statement, right? YouTube for you is local. How? They reach to your ISP. You know ISP? What is ISP? Internet service provider. So they have just like a service like CloudFront, right? So they have service like CloudFront. So YouTube have deployed the server in Telecom Malaysia. If I'm not exaggerating, different multiple ISPs. At least Telecom Malaysia, I'm sure. So if you are using Telecom Malaysia, you connect to Telecom Malaysia, it's free for Telecom Malaysia to give you YouTube service because your data is not going internet. And until the Telecom Malaysia, YouTube has deployed their own fiber. Same for Facebook, blah, blah, and Netflix, right? They are for you is local. Oh, let's move forward. How? This is the service called CloudFront. Okay, so now migration. So suppose you are running a huge software house locally, you want to migrate to the cloud. So AWS provide a lot of services. I'm not going in detail. I'm just skipping this. Developer tools. Again, I'm not going to in depth because this is the next step. First, you know the basics. Then I hope I can see your face and I can see you fly. So you go to this path and future 5 year later, you will send me message that doctor, we are using in industry these tools, right? I hope. So these are the tools you know the for coding and all these things. And you know, how many of you know the GitHub? Raise your hand, GitHub. You know GitHub. Why we use it? For some sort of code repository. So this AWS Code Summit is something like this. And a lot of services. So just it's a start. I'm going the again the management tools. I'm skipping just few of them. I can just name. So for example, AWS CloudTrail. So we need to have all the logs for each and every server. So we use the CloudTrail. We can do a lot of automation. AWS config is a very good service. It's provide you the configuration audit sort of thing. So suppose you supposed to work with the AWS, what is term we use for the right path to AWS? The following the right direction of AWS. Every slide, every module we have and this.
Knowledge checks.
No, not knowledge check. Suppose you want to do the right direction, you want to follow the AWS in the correct path, there is some specific word we use. Never mind. So suppose if you want to check your configuration that it's in the standard or right, so you can use AWS config. It will check your configuration of your client and tell you that this you need to correct. You are not following the standard, something like this. And all, a lot of managed services. For security and identity, IAM, and a lot of services, I'm just skipping multi-factor authentication. Nowadays, you know, all role-based. So I hope you might have some of the modules for security. Yes or not yet? Any of the security module you have studied? Cyber security, something. So you know that basic security role is zero trust. Zero trust means no services will be on without a proper allocation and authentication there and role defined. And similarly, suppose I am a lecturer, so role based means I have a role of suppose cyber range, so I will get only role to access the cyber rail. By default, as a lecturer, I will not have access. Something like this, role based. So you can go through, when you go, you will find these things. So a lot of these tools as well. And also it's provide the key management system, AWS organization. So suppose a huge organization, the security is in modular. So if you use modules, suppose segregate, there is a big rule of security, segregate the duties. Don't mix, don't overlap. So AWS organization provides you a very good option. The management has different, organization of having the roles and keys. HR has different, lecturers has different, students has different, something like this. So a lot of things AWS provide to do this. Okay, analytics. Okay, everyone knows that nowadays data analytics, getting something from the data is very important. Everyone is working on it. So a lot of analytics services, machine learning based analytics, variety of services it provides. And also how many of you have heard of big data? Raise your hand, big data. Hadoop. Have you heard Hadoop? No? Up. Okay, what data is big data? Anyone knows? Yes.
It's a very large scale, then you need to save in the database, you cannot save in normal servers.
Yes. So for that sort of services, AWS provide you service as well. And huge, what we call the big analytics, the big data analytics you want to perform, you can use using the AWS services. So this all available on AWS. Artificial intelligence, AWS has a variety of, please. Just bring here. Now next you, come here. Bring your chair here next to me. Or maybe this side. Come. Okay, so now you might be thinking that why I am introducing all these services to you. I'm not running any business. But you should have the vision. Once you have vision, maybe in 5 years you get this. If you never have vision, you will fall, lower and lower. So have good, imagine the good and high vision. See, maybe you might be doing any of these jobs. No angels are doing these jobs. Human being like us doing this job, right? So AWS has a lot of mobile services as well. And application services, I'm just going to message servicing like basic SQS. So message servicing like, you create your Facebook and you want to send the personal message, so sort of message servicing, right? And it also provides some sort of email services through your app or complete email solution as well. You want to serve a lot of business, desktop, everything, IoT. So I'm just skipping this because Mr. Yogesh has arrived. I thought he's not coming, so we are short of time already. I'm taking a lot of time. So why I presented all of you, AWS as a career is a huge path. Even you take one thing, compute, I assure you a very good job. You take one thing, security, I assure you a very, very good job in the industry. So work hard, get the skill, become the master of your thing, and you will be hired quickly, right? So it is a real world job opportunity you are getting here through AWS. So one more thing, I think I should leave for Mr. Yogesh. He is going to introduce you to the AWS Academy, which we will be using for this. So thank you very much. And I leave the questions. I don't have time. Maybe you can ask questions from Mr. Ahmad. He is our most senior and most, the experienced AWS instructor. Yeah, thank you. Something USB or laptop? Bring your laptop. Okay.